Welcome to What the Hill is Happening, City on a Hill's monthly informational and formational podcast. This podcast is where you can come to find out what is happening at our church and the why behind the happenings.
Well, welcome everybody to the July episode of What the Hill is Happening. We are in a very different location than we normally film this show. Normally we're in actually my living room, but today, not my living room. This is Refuge Ranch in Elkhart, Texas, just outside of Palestine, Texas. I'm joined here with probably the worst threat to any chance of fun and excitement here in Texas. Aaron Nelson, it's good to be with you.
It's true. Thank you. Thank you for coming here.
I'm sorry that it is a sweltering 73 degrees in here right now. It's very hot.
That's right. We're just really working on keeping the doors closed.
That's exactly right.
You know,
keep
got
those
to
doors shut.
It's chilly out there, Derek.
We are glad to welcome you in for this episode. We are obviously at middle school camp and wanted to do an episode here at the ranch, have a little bit of fun, do a segment maybe with some of the other students here in a little while, and then talk to you also about Year Lead coming up, which is going to be a lot of fun. We'll get to that at the end of the episode. But so far, how do you think this is going?
In my honest opinion, Derek, this has been my favorite camp we've ever done. We have done camp out at the ranch in this format for 4 years now. So that some years has been 3 camp. We do the camp as well for our sister church, Refuge, and then middle school and high school camp each year. So we've done a lot of camps out here in 4 years, and just the group of students we have, the group of leaders we have, and just how God has shown up. This has been an awesome camp, man.
It's been amazing. This is my first experience with a student ministry camp. I came to several kids ministry camps in years past. I've been to several of them here at Refuge Ranch, actually, and so it's not my first time doing a camp at the ranch. I'm very familiar with kind of what to expect, how things go. Although I will say, just as a side note as well, humongous shout out to the ranch team. The ranch looks better than it has ever looked since I have been here. The barn dominium updates are incredible. The boys are in the barn for this particular camp, and they are blown away by it as well. The new bathrooms, the progress that's been made over the last 5 years since we've owned this place. It's really hard to put in perspective what it actually has amounted to, but it's nothing short of just incredible. And we are so blessed as a church to have the faithful families that have participated, put thousands of hours at this point, and certainly thousands of miles on their vehicles to get here back and forth. It has been the best camp. It's exceeded every expectation that I've had. I've had no real criticisms. Yeah. There have been little things that it's just little tweaks, really, and I can find that about anything. But in terms of what I would change for this camp, I would change nothing. It's just been a tremendous experience, and I think it really is. I think it comes down to leadership. I think it starts with you. I think it starts with June, and that kind of trickles down to the leaders here at this camp, and that sets the tone for the kids. And middle school is one of those ages where not a lot of people jump at the opportunity to serve at a middle school camp. Right. It's 100 degrees every day out here. It's hot. Middle schoolers are just they're still kind of kids, but they're old enough, but not quite old enough. It's a weird age for most people that they don't feel as comfortable with, and it's just been an amazing experience. And so I want to challenge all of you watching, if you've never been down here and you've never served in one of these camps, there are a lot of things you could do here where you're not even necessarily leading with the kids step by step. Cooking, cleaning, so on and so forth. That's all part of this. Cook team, by the way.
I do want to shout out our leaders for those of you who will watch this back at home who were here at middle school camp. This has been one of the greatest group of leaders we have ever had.
Agreed.
And like you said, it's not everybody is in a small group or something like that, but there's a lot of moving parts big camps that are done, they've got teams that they pay
Yeah.
for people to come and do these things. We are relying on the church body. We're
Yeah.
relying on leaders who are willing to take time, some of them taking vacation time, which is a huge deal.
It is.
Coming out here and just being willing, man. It's the willingness of our leaders to just make it happen.
So good.
To jump at any opportunity to help. But like you said, our cooks, man, have been
Dynamite.
dynamite. Yes.
The kids,
yes.
one of the kids came over yesterday, he was sitting at my table, and he was like, I love camp. And as he's taking this massive bite of a quesadilla.
Of course.
And I was like, really? Why? And he was like, the food. The food is so good. And,
it is.
It is.
It
It's
is
awesome.
good, man.
So that's been amazing. Theme this year, of course, again, Survivor.
Oh, yeah.
And, having done it before, obviously you guys have done this, you've got a little bit of experience.
Yep.
So
Yes,
that
sir.
makes it better. But it has just been so much fun.
Yeah.
The I think best addition and one of the best parts of this camp has been a product of our media team, Morgan Phillips, RJ Andrade from Afghanistan. I'm kidding, he's from Brazil. He's behind the camera right now. They set up a station where if you've ever watched the show Survivor, there are these like kind of personal interviews throughout the show. Well, we've allowed kids throughout the day to just go up and click record and record videos where they're talking about how camp has been going. And the next morning, each day, Morgan has edited those things together, and it's been like, I think, one of the biggest highlights of the day.
Dude, it has been hilarious.
Yeah.
It has been hilarious. It's one of those things where it's like you never know how students are going to respond to something like that.
Yeah.
It usually goes one of two ways. Either there's like nobody, like we're not doing that.
Right.
Or they totally buy in.
Yeah.
And they totally bought in.
And they bought in.
And the quality of
Comedy.
videos. Oh my gosh, man.
Our kids
It
are
has
hilarious.
been- yes. It
They're
has
so
been
good.
hilarious.
You know,
Yes.
Tyler, one of our leaders, Tyler Richards here, was saying, like, when he was growing up in student camps, it was like always like you go back to church and they play like the slideshow or the video or whatever, and it's like, man, I hope I'm in one of the pictures. And like we're gifting the opportunity, and so those kids that are just like they want to be a part of the production, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has been a ton of
Teaching
fun,
has been
yeah.
great. RJ has done the bulk of the teaching. We've been studying the Gospel of John, and John is the surviving apostle, the one who outlasts all the others, and that's been a really creative element to this whole thing as
Yeah.
well that I think has been awesome.
Yeah.
We've been studying through various passages in John's Gospel, and our kids are really hearing some,
Yeah.
I think, quality Bible teaching. They're being challenged to think about with seriousness their sin
Yeah.
and the message of grace, and I'm excited to see the fruit from this.
Yeah. They have responded. RJ has done an awesome job, and yourself. You
Thank you. Yeah.
you taught one night as well. It
Yeah.
was excellent. But the response that we're seeing from the kids, little conversations that different students are having with leaders,
Yeah.
and just seeing God's Spirit move
Yeah.
Through a camp. And for this one and all of them, but we're here now. It's been palpable.
It's been amazing.
And to have students practicing what our church preaches,
Yeah.
what we as adults are preaching, to see our students following suit in doing that as well, it makes me emotional, man.
Well, and again,
And-
I think part of it is like we talked about sin,
Yeah.
the importance of confessing your sin to one another, and that's a major aspect of our Freedom Group ministry, of transparent confession, of being vulnerable, and certainly that looks different for kids, the things they struggle with, but honestly, not too much different than what adults struggle with, and I think part of again the secret success to creating an environment where kids feel safe to share in a vulnerable manner begins with the leaders, the adult leaders, who are also practicing this in their own lives.
No doubt.
If you got guys or ladies leading a group that have never really done this and don't really know what that's really like, we couldn't expect the kids to follow suit.
Yep.
And as I'm looking around at the leaders of these different small groups, I'm like, man, these are great people
Yeah.
to be doing this, to be modeling this,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, 100%, man. As a leader, you can only take them as far as you've gone.
Correct.
And so to have those leaders who are practicing that culture already, I mean, it makes all the difference.
Of course, by this point, high school camp will not have happened yet. Middle school camp will be over if you're watching this once it comes out. So we appreciate your prayers for that. But we still need your prayers for high school camp. They're going to be going through the same camp process, all the games, all the fun. And honestly, a lot of the same leaders are going to be here as well. There are going to be a few change outs, but a lot of the core people are coming back at the end of July for that camp as well. So pray for them. This is a fun camp, as we've been talking about. But it is hot. It is tiresome. We're up early. We're to bed late. It just is a very demanding experience, a very worthwhile experience, but a very demanding. So we would appreciate your prayers. We would love that. Coming up next in this next segment, we're actually going to bring some of the kids in. We are in the pavilion. They'll be in here any moment. And we'll do some kind of spur-of-the-moment interviews with some of these people. Maybe. We'll see. If this was just a terrible idea, then you'll find the year lead segment next, and it'll only be 2 segments, but I don't think that'll happen. It'll be great. But there will be a year lead segment after. So make sure you stick around. If you don't want to hear the fun shenanigans, fast forward to the 3rd segment, because it is important. As your pastor, I want you to hear about that. I want you to be at year lead. It's going to be an amazing time. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back into segment number 2, where, as promised, we are interviewing here some of our contestants, some of our students at middle school camp. Here on my right is Mr. Alex. Say hello.
Hi.
And then I have Fiona. Say hi in your microphone.
Hi.
And then at the end, Tessa, or as we've been calling her, Tesla.
Hello.
Wonderful. Glad to have you all on the show. So first of all, let me ask, we'll start with Alex. What has been your favorite part of camp so far?
Swimming and the challenges.
What's been fun about the challenges?
Losing to purple.
That's exactly right. Losing to purple, because we win all of it. I'm just kidding, but we have. That's been cool. What do you think about the final day? Kind of a last challenge. What are your chances?
A lot. We're in 2nd place.
All right, that's what I like. I like the confidence. Fiona, what about you? What's been your favorite part so far?
I liked doing Quiet Place. That was one of the challenges.
That was super cool, yeah.
There was tables set up and chairs,
Yeah.
and someone was blindfolded, and they had to hit us with like balls.
Yeah, Nerf guns, yeah. Super cool. So we played a Quiet Place game, and both Jacob Franklin and Gage Duncan, and actually I got to do the last one, were blindfolded, and they had to sneak around the room, and we had to listen for them and use Nerf guns, which was a lot of fun. I think that was a huge high point for the time. What else? Any other things stand out to you?
Bucky's.
Bucky's, of course. It's a perennial favorite. Tesla, hand the microphone to her. What about you? How have you felt?
I like camp in general, but a few of my favorite parts were the quiet game, that thing, and then I also like winning.
What team are you on?
Nucia.
That's right. Which is what color?
I don't even know what it's called.
It's purple. Tesla's on my team. What else? What's been your favorite challenge so far?
I think my favorite was the puzzle.
The puzzle was fun.
It was kind of scary, but
Yeah, because you were on the Congo line.
yeah, I kept tripping on stuff. So
Yeah, so for viewers at home, this particular challenge consisted of a search for puzzle pieces out in an open field. The task was that each team had to have 3 people form a conga line and be blindfolded. And at the direction of their team leader, we had to yell where to go to pick up the pieces. Once they had brought them all back, the rest of the team was then able to unblindfold and put the puzzle together. And that is in part why my voice is a little bit hoarse today, because we yelled a lot. And it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. It's been a great time so far. So let's do this. What's starting with Tesla and then going back to Alex? What's been your favorite meal so far?
like is there like
Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Can't be Bucky's.
I kind of forgot what we had for all of them, but maybe the baked potato. That was
Baked
good.
potato, yeah.
And the hamburger probably.
Hamburger. Solid choices. Okay. Fiona, what about you?
I liked when we had grilled cheese for lunch. That was really good.
That was very good. It had the soup too, yeah? Was there a soup with it?
There was soup.
Yeah, there was a soup. Tomato soup. It's an American staple.
Actually, that one's probably my favorite.
That one's Tesla's favorite too. What about you, Alex?
The grilled cheese and the brownies.
Oh, Keemon's brownies. Those were epic. Epic. You want to talk about what was inside those brownies?
Oreos and fudge.
Oreos and fudge. I mean, if there's not a better match made in heaven, I don't know what it is, right? Yeah. What was let's see here. What's been your favorite spiritual lesson that you've learned this week? Like, what's something that out of the messages or the small group, the devotionals, what's something that God has put on your heart?
When RJ did the John teaching yesterday.
What was so impactful about it?
It was like nice.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Nicodemus. Yeah, that was pretty awesome, wasn't it? Yeah. And the serpent, the bronze serpent, it was pretty cool. It's not every day that you get a student ministry camp message that pulls in from the book of Numbers and is still interesting, and yet somehow it happened. Yeah, RJ did a masterful job. What about you? What's been like one spiritual lesson that you've learned, something that stood out to you?
I liked the very first one that RJ did. My favorite thing about that, because I didn't know that John got boiled in oil.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool.
That was wild, huh? Mm-hmm. And we learned that in part from, does anyone remember his name? The church father that recorded that.
Starts with a T.
It starts with a T.
I forgot.
It has Thule in it. Tertullian. Tertullian, yeah, that was amazing. It's, again, not every day that you get a student camp message involving a second century church father like Tertullian. That's interesting, but RJ's knocking it out of the park. It's really amazing. Tesla, what about you?
Probably also the first and the latest one that RJ did. It was like really inspiring to me. I don't know why, but it was. And yeah, he did a really good job, like, telling it to us.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Hold a mic because I want to do one last thing. If you want to give one person back home a shout out and one person here that you think is doing an excellent job, a shout out.
I think I would want to shout out you for being a good leader.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so kind. Look at that.
And then probably my mom for making me go to this camp.
Oh, shout out Mom. Make her go to camp every year. You heard it here first. Fiona, what about you?
I would like to shout out to June and Aaron for setting up this camp.
Yeah.
Or at least some of it.
Yeah.
And working most of it.
Yeah. That's good.
Then I want to say hi to my parents.
Yeah, very good. Awesome. And Alex, what about you?
I want to give a shout out to Silas.
Yeah.
He's been really cool. And my dad.
There you go. We are having a great time. Thank you for being such excellent co-hosts with me in this segment. It's been a lot of fun. Coming up next, we'll talk a little bit about Year Lead, so stick around. Well, welcome back into the final segment. We are, as we promised, going to talk a little bit about Year Lead, which is our annual leadership conference. We do it every year, 4th annual this time.
Correct.
It is in August 9th and 10th, which is a Friday night and a Saturday morning up to about lunchtime. Friday night's more of like a vision casting time. Saturday, there's typically kind of breakout. There's going to be some ministry updates this time around. That'll be even a little bit longer than last year. If you're there last year, we got a lot of really positive feedback on that portion of the event, but it was very quick because we had a lot of things we were trying to fit into the schedule. We feel like that's such an important part. We're going to actually expand that out a little bit. So everyone's going to get to share, talk a little bit about the upcoming exciting things for the next year for those ministries. Here are some updates on just how things are going in general. I'm sure actually during Aaron and June's portion, you'll hear a little bit about these camps and how amazing they were. They were truly an amazing experience. So all that to say, we want you to be there. One of the things about Year Lead, and correct me if I'm wrong because you've been around, is that every year it seems like Year Lead sort of sets the pace or the tone for the following year. And so 2 years ago, was the first year lead we had for me as the senior pastor of City on a Hill exclusively. James and I had been kind of tag teaming before that. That after that year lead, that set in motion the 2023 year, which was a huge year for us.
Huge.
We had the worship center remodel, the
New
parking
logo.
lot, the new logo, the foyer. I mean, there was all kinds of things that took place during that time. The new logo actually came the following 2023 year lead, which set the pace for this year we're currently in. Where, new logo, landmark series podcast from Dr. James Reeves, Alan McBrayer, other founding ministers of this church, going all the way back to the 1980s. We unveiled that. We unveiled the 3-service plan, 8, 9, 30, 11, which we now currently are doing. Prior to that, we only had 2 services. We grew by about 100 people almost overnight after doing that. So these year leads really established some big kind of vision thinking, vision casting ideas that we've been praying about, we've been talking about, and we're ready to finally implement. And we do have some of those big things this year as well for this particular year lead. That'll be mostly on Friday night where we talk about that. So if you're newer to the church, we would love to have you come on that evening. We do ask you sign up on Church Center. There is a need for sign up, mainly because of food. We feed you on that Friday night. There are snacks and various things on Saturdays as well. We are doing, I think, a lunch on Saturday, additionally, at the end, just to kind of try to build some unity. That's going to be one of the big focal points, I think, of this year lead is really trying to be intentional about unifying the body. Not that we're in disunity, but we've had a lot of growth. We had an entire church merge into City on a Hill with Restorer Church, which has been an amazing experience, I know, for myself personally and everyone I've talked to. I have not heard anything negative at all. Brad Marvin has kind of seamlessly fit right into the team, and it's just been an incredible experience. But with that being said, a lot of new people. We really want to be very intentional about unifying around the vision that God has given us through prayer, through just being together. And so would love to have you come and be a part of that as we look to the next year from fall to fall is kind of how we think about it, with some of the big plans that we believe God has given us. And I know the experience from your end, I'm sure, is a little bit different than mine. I mean, how do you feel Year Lead has impacted the church and impacted you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I think last year impacted the whole church as a whole. The whole church, greatly. With the Landmark podcast, rebranding.
Yeah.
It's a whole new what's the word I'm thinking?
Era.
Yeah, era
Yeah.
for us, which is super exciting. Personally, it was exciting for me just because as a creative person, we got to be a part of these projects. And so, it's been great.
Yeah, when I think of Year Lead, I actually do think of the creative team, of which Morgan is a humongous part. There's so many elements that City on a Hill kind of brings to the table on a night like Year Lead or a weekend like Year Lead, and they are largely driven by media. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's how people think and are creative in this modern world. And that we have the ability to do that, I think, is just an expression of worship and excellence unto the Lord. And there are some very creative things that we're looking towards in the future for the growth of this church and the way that we're going to execute that. And so I hope that you'll consider coming. I know that life is busy. August is, for those of you who are parents of kids in school, August is right around that time when school starts to pick back up. We chose August 9th and 10th because it's before school officially goes back, and so it shouldn't be too much of an issue for you in that way. Still gives you another weekend to prepare for first day of school and so on and so forth. So please make it a priority, even if it's for just Friday night, although I really want to encourage you to be there for Saturday too, because that's where the individual ministry updates happen. We'll have some breakouts, some different ways that you can engage, learn. Some of us will be doing some breakouts over various different disciplines, and so whatever interests you, just sign up for that one once you get there, and that'll be available for you. And then, of course, again, we'll eat together at the end and just kind of mix it up and talk and be excited together for what God is doing in this church, because there is no question in my mind God is moving through City on a Hill. It is more and more apparent to me the things that he has developed, not only in the staff and the teaching ministry of the church, not just with me, but I mean, when you think about, like, I was thinking about this, I'm obviously here at camp. I'm not preaching this weekend. Brad Marvin is preaching. James Reeves preached last weekend. Chris Cunnington preached a few weekends ago. Or Brian Duncan actually preached a few weekends ago. Chris was on a mission trip.
Yeah.
Chris will be preaching again soon after this. He preached in the spring. But when you think about, like, local churches, even in our area, our bench of preachers are stronger biblical teachers and preachers than a lot of main guys in other churches. We are so blessed.
Yeah, we have a great lineup.
It's incredible. And for me personally, as a senior pastor, it takes a lot of pressure off me, because I feel like now if I need to go and preach at Hope Gathering in San Antonio at Refuge Church, or if I need to come and be a part of middle school camp and invest in the future people of our church, which has been tremendous for me personally, and I hope for them as well, there's not that feeling of like, oh, but I'm not in the pulpit, and I don't know what I'm going to get. Like, we've got good biblical teaching and preaching through the Gospel of Mark, and so God is working at City on Hill. It's really an amazing thing. I want you to catch the vision of that for sort of this next step. So please consider right now jumping on Church Center. Sign yourself up. Make sure you include whoever's coming with you, including kids. There will be childcare for it. There always is. We need to know primarily, again, for food, so that everybody has enough food. And we will see you there. It's been a great time here. We're in the cool. We're about to be out in the hot. So pray for us just in retrospect. Your retrospect prayers probably won't make a difference, but I don't think that's how time and prayers and eternity works, but we'll appreciate it anyways, nonetheless. God bless you, and we will see you next time. If you're ever wondering what the hell is happening, you know where to come.